10-3 so far. 4-0 in StarCraft Brood War matches. So he's been on a tear, which is quite a nice change from last season, where he actually had quite a poor record. That you can't really, I mean, was not entirely his fault. He did get a little bit unlucky and kept getting his worst matchup, which was ZBZ in Brood War. So he ended up with, I think, an unfairly poor overall record. But this season he's definitely making up for it, coming out for Khan in quite a few of the StarCraft 2 Ace matches, in fact, proving to be one of those better StarCraft 2 players, and as we saw from the statistics, also one of the better Brood War players. So, oh, and of course he is also one of the cutest players in Pro League. But he's going to be playing in Snow from CJ, so it's going to be a ZVP for our first match. Yes. Alright. Now, as we can see from the statistics, it's not looking so good for for Snow. I don't know where I got 0 from. I guess I'm still thinking about the OSL. Zerg 5-0 against Protoss on this map. I mean, dude, Exio, I didn't say I read a TL write-up for the first time. I said I read it for the first time while taking a bath. There's a difference. So I've decided from now on I will only read TL write-ups while taking baths. That's right, I'll have that intimate connection with the write-up team, with the TL writers team. So, this is we're gonna have a pause here. Snow seems to have some issues with his computers or something. I don't know if that's what's going on or they're just chilling. Either way, I'm gonna take this opportunity to finish my rice pudding.
심지어 지금 뭐 팀원도 5승째를 찍고 별로 승리 차이가 없게 지금 만들어주고 있거든요. 네, 그래서 삼성전자 칸이 웅진이 뜻밖의 2연패 하는 바람에 승리하면 무조건
Is my overlay wrong? Oh, it is. How did I make Snow Zerg? That was weird. Although he's Terran in StarCraft 2, isn't he? Or am I getting mixed up with someone else? I might actually be getting mixed up with flying. For some reason, I always confuse Snow and flying. I think it's because like they look a little bit similar or something, like in real life. So I always think they're like the same person. Anyway, yeah. Since something's going on right now, I recommend everyone go to Team Liquid and check out this article, The Final Four. Because I will be casting the first match of the Final Four following today's Pro League match. It'll be Zero versus Jangbi, the Cutie versus the Trollface. All the handy dandy recaps and stuff. This was actually very handy as well, because I haven't actually been watching the OSL matches, so I was reading this, I was like, oh, okay, so that's what happened. Alright, Shine to Dirty All Winner, okay, nothing new there, alright, good. So that's quite useful.
다승왕 정도 여러 명 생각해 볼 수가 있었어요. 근데 지금 이런 상황이라면 10승을 넘긴 선수가 단 2명이기 때문에 이 선수로 많이 압축이 되고 있거든요. 그래서 아마 자존심 싸움이 상당할 것 같고 말씀해 주신 다른
Excuse me.
선수들한테는 지지 마. 그리고 김정호 선수한테는 지면 안 돼. 이런 분명히 생각도 있을 거예요. 그렇기 때문에 오늘 경기나 신노예 선수 경기 중요하지만 김정호 선수를 상대로 또 어떤 선수를 내보내게 될지도 상당히 관심이 가는 부분입니다. 전반전 포인트 중에 하나인 신노예 선수가 1세트에 일찌감치 등장을 했고 두 번째 후반전으로 넘어갔을 때 김정우 선수가 만나는 상대가 누가 될지도 굉장히 흥미 포인트 중에 하나인 오늘의 경기가 되겠습니다. 신노예 선수와 장윤철 선수의 경기가 기다리고 있는데 사실 신노예 선수에게 그런 포커스가 많이 맞춰지는 만큼 그만큼 기세나 숫자나 전반전 상황 다 좋은데 장윤철 선수도
지금 뭐 가능성 보여준 그 후반전과는 달리 실질적으로 숫자를 보여주고 있는 것이 그 전반적인 상황이거든요.
네, 그래서 CJ 내에서는
Pink shirts are back.
기죽거나 우리가 불리하다라는 생각은 아마 하지
Awesome.
않을 것 같습니다.
네.
맵의 데이터 0대5로 프로토스가 밀린다 하더라도 그것은 이전의 기록이고 분명히 할 만한.
I wonder how they decide whether to wear the pink shirts or the blue shirts. Do they just like pick randomly? Do they alternate? I haven't really noticed. I like the pink ones.
이런 것들을 보여줘 왔었는데 이번 경기마저 이기게 되면 삼성을 상대로 5연승을 달리게 되는 것이기 때문에 이러한 좋은 징크스를 사실 팀 입장에서는 끝까지 가져가고 싶거든요.
그렇죠, 그렇죠.
네, 그래서
네.
오늘 더욱더 열심히 경기를 치를 만한 CJ 엔투스의 선수들이다 이런 생각을 좀 해봤습니다.
그렇습니다. 좋은 그 기세를 유지하고 있는 그런 것에 반해서 거꾸로 얘기하면은 삼성전자 칸 입장에서는 그런 것들이 정말 그야말로 징크스인 그런 상황, 기세를 좀 연달아 좀 많이 내주고 있는 상황이라서 지금 신노열 선수의 그 최근 기세가 그런 것들을 잠재우기를 굉장히 많이 바라고 있을 것 같습니다.
네, 그렇기 때문에 뭐 예를 들어 오늘 같은 경우는 뭐 스타링가 있잖아요. 허영무 선수가 출전 예정인데 그런 것과 관계없이 모든 선수가 진짜 에이스라면 총 출동을 해서 반드시 삼성 입장에서는 연패를 막아야겠다 이런 생각이 분명히 있을 겁니다. 완전 뭐 혈전이 될 것 같고요. 많은 기대가 되고 있습니다.
그렇습니다. 자, 신노열 선수와 장윤철 선수의 경기가 경기 준비 상황이 좀 길어지고 있습니다. 다시 한번 좀 현재
Come on,
말씀을 드리면요.
go.
삼성전자 신노열 선수는 이제
My rice pudding is done. I am ready for brood
장윤철
war.
선수도 들어와서 종료 선택만을 남겨두고 있는 상황이 되겠습니다. 오늘 1세트
Please give me to StarCraft.
아니면 장윤철 선수가 그러한 신노열의 기세를 막아주면서
Yes, yes, yes. Your life story is not very interesting.
양 선수
What the heck could he be talking about?
끝이 났습니다. 지금부터 그 1세트 만나보겠습니다.
Yes! He said too. Oh, it's the first ban target. Quick, which mod's gonna get him? You guys won't even know who the mods are in the chat. Is the sound lower today? Could be. Make it higher. Alright, it's a little bit higher. It's approximately 12% higher. I didn't even make that up, it like actually is 12% higher. So, spawning is the white Zerg in the bottom left. We have the cutest of all cuties, besides Bisu. RorO, playing for Samsung Kong. And in the bottom right, as the yellow Kratos, lagging up my stream. Whoa. Oh, don't worry guys, this probe might eventually return those minerals to the Nexus. Alright, good. So he got it. He got it, don't panic. Okay, so I think... Okay, is the audio okay now? Oh, actually, only one person was complaining, so I'll wait for... Whoa, well, there's a lot of English there. I'm at my payphone trying to call home. All of my change I spent on you. I think I might have been supposed to... Wait, I think I should have sung that? Were those like song lyrics? I guess they were. They had like the little musical notes. I messed that one up. I dropped the ball, guys. And my voice seems completely dead this morning for some reason. I think actually eating rice pudding before casting was probably a bad idea. That's alright, I have some delicious warm honey water to soothe my aching throat. Awkward pause as we ogle the cute couple in the back. Actually, I don't know if they're a couple. Could just be like brother and sister. That'd be quite awesome. I wish I had a sister that would just like go to Pro League with me. Not that I can even randomly go to Pro League anyway, but you know what? A guy can dream. So, we do have a blind forge first here from... Oh, sorry, not blind. He did get the probe in. Alright, never mind. So he scouted correctly first try, and is actually going to forge first because he saw a pool first build from Zerg. I believe it was an overpool, but, you know. It's best to be as generic as possible, you know. Pool first covers all my bases, so that I don't have to say something wrong. Nice. Ooh, doesn't quite get the block off completely. A little bit surprised there. I could have blocked it off a couple more seconds at least. But when you're playing against like an overpool, it doesn't actually matter that much if you block the hatchery, because what happens is when you overpool, if you make the hatchery as soon as you get 300 minerals, you can only afford a single set of Zerglings when the pool finishes. So if you get your hatchery blocked, you just make all 6 lings anyway, and then you don't have enough money for the hatchery anyway. So it's like either you make the hatchery early and don't get that many lings, or you just make 6 lings, and even if your hatchery is blocked, your lings will come out. So yeah, that's quite nice. Anyway, he's sending also a drone to the top left to make a hatchery there. His Overlord's already seen the Protoss, so or I believe it has. There seems to be a white dot over the Protoss cliff there. Yeah. So he's seen the Protoss already. He's just gonna make a hatchery at the top left, and looks like he has killed the probe scout now. Everything's standard in the Protoss base. He did make 2 cannons, which is actually, it's very interesting. Nowadays in Pro League, the Protoss is like almost always, like 90+% of the time, just try and get away with 1 cannon. But in this case, I think it's a good idea. He did scout the early pool, and the walls on this map on Ground Zero have quite a few holes in them. So in his wall, he has a gap between the pylon and the forge, and I think there's a 2-space gap above his gateway as well. So you gotta be a little bit wary of run-bys. Anyway, we are going to see a fast Hydralisk den here from RorO. He's going to be playing a 3-hatch Hydra opening, which is not really a cheese in today's metagame. Nowadays we're just seeing Zergs open with 3-hatch Hydra, put on some early pressure with the Hydralisks, and then just transition out into their lair and into more bases, more drones, all that good jazz. But for the Protoss, see, they don't actually. It's very difficult for them to know whether the Zerg's actually committing to an all-in or not. So they do have to like make a bunch of cannons and play very, very defensively for a while. So for the Zerg, you just basically contain the Protoss, force a bunch of cannons, and then kind of catch up a little bit economically behind that. And it's quite a nice opener. Compared to like the very passive 5-hatch or 6-hatch builds. I think it's actually particularly good on this map because there's, as I said before, quite a bit of space at the natural. So there's definitely that threat of like a Hydraling bust. Anyway, the first Zealot's going to come over here to scout. The probe did see the 3rd base, so he knows it's not a 2-hatch all-in. But now the Zealot sees the Hydras, immediately turns back. Probably going to immediately put some more cannons down. Yep, there we go, there's the first cannon. I don't think that pylon... Oh, actually... Oh, you can actually build 2 more cannons in that gap if he wants to. It's gonna be... Now, the interesting thing I'm looking for here is exactly how many cannons will he build. Because if you build too many, if you overreact to the Hydras and you build too many, then the Zerg will actually get ahead on the economy by just droning up behind. He can just poke ones and be like, oh, this guy made 58 cannons, let me just not make any more Hydralisks. Whereas if you don't make enough cannons, obviously you just die. So yeah, it's a fine balance that the Protoss player has to strike here, and it's not going to help that he's going to lose his forge. So he does have 4 cannons right now. And there's not that many Hydralisks, so he should be okay. And this little counterattack I think is quite cute. Does kill a few Zerglings, does distract RorO a little bit here. RorO is going to start breaking down this wall. And this is another thing I actually forgot to mention. Whoa, careful with that Corsair. This thing I forgot to mention just now is that not only do you, hurt the Protoss by forcing more cannons and keeping him on the defensive, but you also basically get these wall buildings for free. So this Pylon Gateway and Forge, which are like always used in the wall. Sometimes the pylon will be further back, in which case you won't get it, but you'll always get the forge and the gateway at least. So that's a very nice move, or a nice little benefit there. Anyway, the Corsair is out. It's going to fly around and see what's going on. Not going to make a second Corsair because it's not really going to be that useful. The Hydra's already out on the map, and needing to build more ground units to make sure he doesn't die. But he does actually. Oh, I think he got close enough to see that 5th hatchery. So he saw the 4th hatchery being placed at RorO's natural, and he saw the 5th hatchery there at the 3rd. So he knows that RorO is in fact transitioning out. Lair is actually being built at the natural there. That's kind of interesting. Anyway, so the Corsair is going to continue to fly around, and this is actually an interesting point. Like a lot of, or I don't know if I should say a lot. But I guess in the low level Protoss players, oftentimes when they see the early Hydras, they'll just instantly cancel the Stargate and just be like, well, you know, if he's gonna Hydra bust me, I don't actually need a Stargate, and just, you know, make more cannons and make High Templars and stuff like that. Now, while that may be correct against like a 2-hatch Hydra bust, if he's going for 3-hatch Hydra aggression, oftentimes it is actually better to just let the Stargate finish and get this Corsair, just so that you can get the scouting information, because it's so important to actually see, is he going to just try and kill me, or is he actually switching out and making more hatcheries? Because as I said before, you know, if you're unable to see that and you kind of overreact one way or the other, then you will just lose the game.
이게 잡히게 되면 눈이 잠깐 멀 때 뮤탈 히드라가 정말 무섭잖아요.
그렇죠.
지금 장윤철 계속 봐주는
And looks like we actually do have a 5th cannon here, so Snow seems to be a little bit nervous about this. The way he's built his wall and the way he's positioned his cybernetics core seems to be less than ideal to me. I'm actually not sure why he placed his core there, because now he's kind of blocked himself in. Like he's not actually walled himself in, but for his units to get out of his natural, he's gonna have to walk like kind of in a roundabout route. And basically in Broodor, you want to make the least complicated pathing possible for your units, just to help them out a little bit. I mean, in theory, it shouldn't really matter, but you know, no point risking a stuck Dragoon just like blocking your entire army from coming out, a la Jaedong style. And of course they're going to take a few extra shots. Is going to see that top left base going down. So RorO already taking his 4th base, and this kind of puts the onus on the Protoss player to actually move out and attack. Actually, now that I look at the wall, it's fine because he can just kill that one cannon above the cybernetics core and get out a lot more easily. So that's good. Looks like he's also adding on more Corsairs, but this is also we did see the cybernetics core spinning, so it was +1 attack. But this is very interesting. He's only using the one Corsair to fly around right now. He's keeping all of the other Corsairs hidden. So RorO has no idea about this about the +1 Corsairs that are about to come out, but he's already done the right counter to them, or not necessarily counter, but getting these lurkers out is going to be very annoying for the Protoss player. Ooh, nice storm there. Because the thing is, when you go for a lot of +1 Corsairs like this, you're spending a lot of gas on those Corsairs, on that Stargate tech, so you don't have enough gas to make the Dragoons and Templars that you need to take on the lurkers. But what on earth were those lurkers doing? Oh my goodness. RorO, I think he just had all his he just like A-moved all his hotkeys towards the Zealots and just forgot that there were actually lurkers on some of them. But anyway, upon seeing the lurker, Snow is going to counterattack with the Zealots, so that is the correct decision, I think, here. To just keep a mobile force on the map, not let himself get completely contained. Of course, later on when he wants to break that contain, he can even bring his Zealots back and hit from the backside. And this also forces RorO to bring some of his own lurkers back to help defend against the Zealots, rather than, you know, going purely or investing everything into the contain. So Zealots are going to head over here to the top left. The Corsairs continue to do some nice damage. And unfortunately, but see, look at the army composition of the Protoss of Snow. It's primarily Zealots here, right? Because, you know, as I said, on 2 base, if you're going mass +1 Slayers, you only have enough gas for just like a couple High Templar, and then that's it. You can't, and you know, you also have to spend gas on the Robo and get observers. You know, the Robo is 200 gas, the observers are 75 gas each. It's all very gas heavy, so it's pretty tricky. I mean, we can see the core is still spinning. He is getting Dragoon range now. He does want at least a few Dragoons to help break out of this, but this is going to be quite annoying for him. I think his best bet might actually be to keep distracting these Hydras with the Zealots, and as you can see at the contain, there's actually not that many Hydralisks supporting, so if you can just like use the Corsairs to kill all the Overlords there and use a bunch of DTs to kill all the Lurkers, that can be a very effective way to break out of a Lurker contain. But as soon as the Hydralisks get down there and he brings a few more Overlords, that'll be basically impossible. He's going for a drop though, most likely a DT drop, possibly a DT and High Templar combo drop, but some Scourge are coming in here. They do get blocked by the Corsairs. The Hydralisks are going to come in to try and intercept, but not quite going to get there in time. Meanwhile, Zealot's moving into the top left to distract, but there are a number of Lurkers there, so that should be fine. Looks like it's actually just a couple of Zealots being dropped here. 3 Zealots. Presumably there is at least 1 High Templar in that shuttle still. he might be trying to force the drones to evacuate to the natural so that he can drop the High Templar at the natural and storm 2 bases worth of drones in one go. That is a pretty common tactic, although usually players do it with Dark Templars, but in this case I think he just doesn't have the gas to be able to just afford a DT drop. And whoa! Looks like Muta's actually come out and sniped the shuttle. There was actually a High Templar remaining in that shuttle, but unfortunately was not able to go and storm the drones, had to just drop it and use it on the Mutas. But nice second storm on the Mutas, and gonna be able to finish all of them off there. So I feel like that was probably worth it for the storm drop anyway, even though he didn't get the drones. He got a good number of Mutalisks there. He did lose a decent number of Corsairs. He obviously lost a shuttle. That's not the worst trade in the world, and it looks like, oh, accidentally attacking a Cybernetics core there. You see, this is what I'm talking about. Look, you see, oh, actually, no, the pathing is messed up. Look, the goons have to, like, shuffle through the bottom of the Cybernetics core there. I can't even believe that's actually, you can actually walk through there. That's interesting. But the lurkers are actually all pulled back from the natural there. So RorO just abandoned the contain completely as soon as he saw that Snow was doing a lot of counter harassment. And look at this, now a pretty scary Protoss army is moving out here. That is a lot of Dragoons. He completely stopped Corsair production and switched all his gas investment into massing Dragoons, but doesn't seem to have that many High Templar though. So I'm a little bit concerned about this balance. Looks like a DT has also managed to find its way to the main base. I actually have no idea how that happened. But oh, nice storm there. The second storm not so good. The Muta's trying to snipe some of these High Templars. They do get one of the High Templars drawing out more storms, but another great storm there. And with only 4 High Templar and even Mutalisks overhead, it doesn't matter. The storms are actually spot on, but more Hydras coming in the back, and I don't think there's any storms remaining. He's morphing one pair of the High Templar into an Archon. Does this High Templar have any more storm? I don't think it does, but there's still a lot of Dragoons remaining. But if RorO can hold this attack, he will basically just win the game. I mean, Snow is semi-all-in on this attack. The Zerg is on 4 bases. He's not showing any sign of a third just yet. I think he might have a probe at the inside mineral-only third, but he definitely needs to do massive damage with this attack. He has killed a lot of units here, but more Hydralisks come in the back, and pure Dragoon is not very cost-efficient against pure Hydralisk. You do need the sorry, not Dark Storm. You do need the Psionic, the Psy Storm support to really make that effective. But, well, he is busting into the natural here, and RorO looks like he's given up. Is that a GG? Oh my god, RorO just GG's out. I don't think that was necessary. He looked very close to holding that. Alright. So Snow's gonna take the first game. Was there really